So Bill Maher was talking to Democratic strategist Paul Begala on his show, and man, he over the years he has gotten more and more conservative. I know what he says. He says, no, it's not me. It's that the party changed, and so I'm the same guy with the same opinions, but the party's shifting around me, and so now, I appear more conservative, even though I'm not, even though I'm saying the same things. Well, you're about to see with this video is that is definitely not true. And I say that because this is a guy who supported Bernie Sanders in 2016. Bernie Sanders in 2016 and in 2020 ran on the idea of free higher education, free college, and eliminating student loan debt. Well, Maher is going to talk to corporate Democrat extraordinaire Paul Begala about this issue, and look at this hot take.
So it just looks like a loser issue for the party that is trying to win back the working class, that we're going to subsidize. We who didn't go to college and didn't benefit from that are going to subsidize you to get your degree in gender studies and sports marketing and all the other bullshit that they take in account. I think it's a loser issue for Biden. What do you think?
Yeah, well, and this is revealing a big secret, so don't tell anybody. We Democrats have a lab, two labs actually, secret labs, one in Berkeley and one in Brooklyn, where we come up with ideas to completely piss off the working class, and it's working wonderfully.
Labs, you say, actual
yes,
labs.
oh yes, they have, and they all have PhDs,
right,
in pissing off the working class. Somehow, in my lifetime, the Democrats have gone from being the party of the factory floor to being the party of faculty lounge. Right. Now, I went last week. I spent Wednesday last week in Chicago with the Machinists Union. Hung out with the machinists all day. Great guys. Not one of them came up to me and said, gee, I really hope you take my tax dollars to pay off the debt of somebody who went to Stanford.
Right. Okay?
So Biden's under enormous pressure. He's not for it. He didn't campaign for it. He says he'll relieve maybe $10,000, which I suppose is good. But what I'd much rather see Democrats do is go back to their roots, which is earn it. We're the party that created the GI Bill. Nobody called that free college because it wasn't. The guys who got the GI Bill earned it. Why don't we have a system where we say, you want to get out of your college debt? Serve your country. Marine Corps, Peace Corps, AmeriCorps. Not everybody can carry a rifle, but you can mentor a kid. And you give 2 years of service, then you will have earned that and expand it so we have community college, job training. We need more mechanics, yes, not MBAs.
Yes.
And that's where the Democrats' focus ought to be.
Well, that to me seems to be the underlying issue. I've said it on this show before. Did Democrats have this idea that you're a better person if you sit in class more and more and get more and more degrees? And really the answer is not to make college cheaper. It's to make it more unnecessary, because most of it is bullshit anyway.
But I'm also in favor of free trade school. And anybody who I talk to who's in favor of free college and eliminating student loan debt says the same thing. Yeah, if college isn't for everybody, fair enough. Let's also give people the option of free trade school. So you want to get a specific skill and a specific thing that you can, monetize as soon as you get out of there. Great, wonderful. There are European nations. I think Germany does. You could pick either free college or free trade school. But they're having this incredibly misleading conversation. Now, by the way, Maher says, quote, it's a loser issue for the party that's trying to win back the working class. And he's talking about eliminating student loan debt and free college. A poll just came out on this bill. 64% of the country supports it. 64%. That's a stunning high number, is what it is. So that is the working class. That is the working class. He's letting his dislike for the younger generation cloud his judgment, because he thinks that the generations below him, millennials and Gen Zers, they're all pampered, spoiled little pricks who are entitled, who live with their parents, and they've gotten everything handed to them on a silver platter, and they still complain about stuff, and they're selfish and all this stuff. And look, that a lot of people in these generations are the working class. And it used to be, back in the day, college used to be far more inexpensive. And once you got out of college, you can get a decent job. Now, college is super expensive, and a lot of the jobs have been outsourced. So people were dealt a shit hand, and they're trying to deal with it as well as possible, and they're struggling. And this has to be said as well, guys. We were told, Crystal Ball did a great monologue on this, where she explains, you know, the roots of this whole, like, go to college and, you know, then you could pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make it work. And it was like quintessential peak Bill Clinton neoliberal scam, where there's a video of him saying it. He's like, look, nobody can promise you that, you know, you're going to have a job and it's going to be well-paying, but let me tell you what the American dream is. Better yourself. Go to college, get your degree, you know, follow this procedure, follow this process, and then at the end of it, you're going to be rewarded for it. And people listened to the advice. They went and did that, and then at the end of it, they realized, like, oh shit, now I'm $100,000 or $150,000 in debt, and I got no job prospects. So what the fuck just happened? Again, what they didn't tell you was it was largely a scam. And so how do you address that? How do you deal with that? You do it the way other European countries have done it, which is say, why not treat college exactly like we treat high school? Have it paid for by tax dollars, and then people don't start out life way behind the 8 ball without having any clue what to do. And again, I love the idea of free trade school as well. You could have free college, you could have free trade school. You know, those are your options. Because it used to be the case back in the day, all you needed was like a high school diploma and you can get a decent job. Now, it's like you need college, and then even if you have college, even that sometimes isn't enough. So it's just about trying to get people in equal opportunity again. I mean, we're in the first generations now that are going to do worse than their parents. The way the system has been set up is absolutely abysmal. It's abysmal, and people are struggling. And I think the thing that frustrates me the most is that Paul Begala and Bill Maher frame their position as like the anti-elitist position. Like, we're just looking out for the working class, when they're actually taking the elitist position. The pro-working class position is obvious on this. Have free college, eliminate student loan debt, give people a chance, give people the option of college or trade school. And by the way, that would be rewarded by the voters. I just told you 64% of the country agrees with the idea of eliminating student loan debt and agrees with the idea of free college. This is the working class position. There's this bullshit argument now that's been floating around of like, this is somehow like, if you eliminate student loan debt, that's somehow like a giveaway to the rich or something. No, the people who really come from money, their parents pay for their college. Their parents pay. Now, are there some people who are like middle class and maybe even some upper middle class who take out student loans and go to college, and so maybe some of them would be getting help? Of course, middle class people, of course they should get the help. And poor people, of course they should get the help. Again, if you think about this when it comes to principles, you could say, as a matter of principle, I don't think student loan debt should be a thing. That's not something you should have to go into debt to get an education. So even if it does help some people who are like upper middle class or whatever, fine. I guarantee you the bulk of the help is going to the middle class and the poor, without a doubt. And statistics bore that out. Again, Crystal showed that chart on her great monologue on this. So they're taking the elitist position as they pretend they're being populist. No. You are definitely elitist. And these are two like multi-millionaires sitting there being condescending to the idea of eliminating student loan debt. They have no idea what it's like for somebody who's struggling and it can't pay the bills. And of course, student loan debt is special in that you can't file for bankruptcy on it. It's one of the few forms of debt you can't file for bankruptcy on. It's astonishing to me. Again, this is a guy who supported Bernie Sanders in 2016. Bernie was always for free college and eliminating student loan debt. And now he's mocking the idea and saying, this is going to hurt us with working class voters. What does that even mean? If 64% of the country is in favor of it, and these are working class voters, what are you saying? He's totally chugged the Kool-Aid and the propaganda that like any sort of program that actually helps the working class is elitist and bad. No, not at all. Anything that helps the working class is by definition pro-working class. And He's too caught up in that standard establishment Democrat world to realize that he's now just a rank propagandist for these shitty ideas. I guess that's what happens when you go from a Bernie voter in 2016 to a Klobuchar voter in 2020. You sort of lose your touch with reality. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.